post-game stream with my friends Aldo, Ben, and Drew from across the pond. We are now going to have a little talk about the exciting and wonderful game against Fulham at Craven Cottage. It ended up 2-2. Drew, how are you doing today? Are you okay?
Still early morning for me. It's like 9:30, so what a start to the day. It's been raining out. I'm doing good, but the it's boring watching Liverpool right now, and I haven't said that for a long time. It's just like bit painful watching. Always gonna be there for them, but it's a bit of a loss. I feel like everyone doesn't have a clue. Like players, manager, fans are just like it's just sad to watch. But that's where I'm at. How about y'all?
I kind of agree, and especially you have to wake up so early in the morning and kind of fall asleep again. So it can't be easy, I bet. Ben, how are you doing? You doing okay?
No, no. I'm not going to be fine until the slot's gone. I'm tired of this manager. His inept ability to do anything right, his substitutions, his system, his bias towards a terrible footballer. Two of them, three of them, maybe. I'm not going to be fine until this manager's gone.
So there's a kind of mixed messages there from Ben, everybody. Craig, how about you, my brother? Are you okay today?
I'm all right, yeah. I'm not shocked by what I've watched, to be honest with you. I actually predicted that we'd lose 2-1 on my Super 6, so I got that one wrong again, didn't I? Yeah, but I'm not surprised. There's just that I don't recognise the team at all. There's from the system to how we're playing. There's no creativity. There's no pressing. The passing for a professional football side is absolutely horrific. They can't pass a ball 5 yards. So yeah, I mean, I'm taking consolation in that we've come away with a point. But some will argue we should have come away with 3. But I'm still scratching my head why he keeps taking Florian Wirtz off when he's the most creative player we've got.
I think the reason why it takes cares of is because of the game on Thursday, to be plain and simple.
Chiesa off. I'm surprised.
No, I'm sorry, Wirtz off. I think that's the only reason.
Chiesa's at the airport.
Yeah, he didn't do much today, but he didn't get much time anyway. I'm going to talk about the first half, first of all. Now, on Norwegian TV, they said it kind of looked like they deliberately passed the ball, poor passes to, Wirtz had a couple of them. They showed a couple of examples on it. And the first half was, well, at least in my opinion, much like we have seen most of the last few games. And I still don't understand how we can get up to that situation where we are so slow and so inaccurate and like Drew said, boring to watch because the players are good. They were good last year, so it's not that. But I can't understand why we start a game and play like that. Drew, what are your thoughts about how we get to be so fucking boring?
I gotta ask the manager on that one. For me, it's just worrying to see. Like I feel like at this stage of the season, there were plenty of valid reasons why the team hit a funk. Like I always go back to Joda being like, I can't imagine having the players, like senior players, his friends, having to go into like work and have an emotional like, just pretend that didn't happen and get along. But it's past that. It's been way past that in terms of, for me, it's the manager's job to get out of the funk. I think like everyone who's saying like all these variables, like reset season, like this is our rebuild, like all of that kind of thing. It's like this is the performance. Like you said, the first half, how shocking it is. Like this isn't the first time we've seen it. Why are the players not hitting out of the gates with intensity? Why is it just lethargic? Why do we look lost? Why can't we build up an attack? Like all these questions, like they've been the same questions we've had since the first funk after the first 6, 7 games. And that's more than enough time to figure it out. And that's the worrying thing for me is that we haven't. Like it doesn't look like we're still at square one, constantly back to square one. And that's the manager's job for me. I don't think the situation is entirely his fault, but it is his job to fix it. And every time I see him in an interview, I just am lost for words at that being his reasoning, his questions, his answers. Because that first half was lethargic, it was slow. We didn't do anything. Like we just looked a mess. Just poor in attack, poor in defense. It's a good goal by Fulham. Give them credit for working that. But how easy was it for them to pass it through our entire team and get to our box? Like I think it was like I was watching Fulham from a goal kick, go from goal kick to our box in like 5 seconds. Just pass through our press in quotes, and then get all the way to the attacking end. Our defensive end. It was embarrassing, and that's what has been the case, or more frequent than not, where we're just seeing a lethargic, poor, lost Liverpool.
Yeah, Ben, as you said earlier, you don't think it will change before the manager is gone. So you kind of agree with Ben. Sorry, with Drew, that it is solely the manager this comes down to, because we will talk about it later on. But the second half was way much better, and that manager must have done something in the at halftime. So why don't the players kind of listen to him or do what they agree upon in the first half?
Because if we don't score in the first 5 minutes, the players immediately just go into defeatist mode. You can tell. Sometimes we do start well, but then if we're not 1-0 up within 10 minutes or 5 minutes, they just give up until the second half or until we go down.
But when did we take the lead in the first 5 minutes last time?
Brighton, and then we scored again. Like the Brighton game was the only exception, but normally when we don't take the lead, that's when things just go south because they just give up. It's like, oh, this hasn't worked, or it's not going to work. It's one of them days, and then lethargic.
But that's the mentality of the players, not the manager.
It radiates from the manager.
But
the players aren't faultless. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Slot should shoulder all the blame. These players have been pathetic this season, for the most part. But the manager's system makes these players hopeless because they know it's lethargic. And yes, I said again, it's partly their fault. But the system doesn't radiate any confidence in anyone because there's no patterns, there's no anything, there's no build-up, there's no structure. The press is, well, I don't even know what the press is. Is it a thing? Is it in the room with us? Because it's like, look at the game against Leeds. Their goalkeeper had so much time to pass out from the back to their defenders and midfielders, and we didn't even offer them any ounce of threat to like make a mistake. That's the problem.
Yeah, but when you are, like Drew said, when you're easy to play through, you kind of don't want to sell yourself out either. You kind of want to find a balance between doing a collective press and not go all out and get outplayed in the back.
Well, I want to know is why Gravenberch and Szoboszlai are always in each other's way. Like like that image I sent into the chat earlier. Why are Gravenberch and Sobo in that position? Like these players, this. I genuinely don't think Slot tells them anything because he can't do. Because this is a group of Premier League champions, a Bundesliga champion, and great talent. And you're telling me these are all players that look clueless and talentless now? Come on.
Okay, back to you then, Craig. Who do you agree most with? Because I kind of have felt the other way that Ben said, that he's kind of telling them too much, so they get confused that way, rather than not telling them anything. But what are your thoughts on the first half there, Craig?
The first half, it was like pulling teeth. It was awful to watch. I mean, the amount of times that we give possession away too easily, game after game. I mean, if you look at, okay, take today's game, but if you look at the Wolves game, the Spurs game, the Leeds game, the Brighton game, is there any difference in those games to who we play today? None. It's the same old rhetoric all the time. I honestly think he's run out of ideas of what to tell them. I don't think he knows what to tell them anymore. It's like that story I told you with Souness when Ronnie Moran said, "We've told you everything now. You lot sort it out." But the thing is, the main voice in the dressing room, Virgil van Dijk, even he's down tools. I mean, he played Wilson on for onside for the first goal, and then if you look at the second half, their equaliser, he's 20 yards away. If that was a Van Dijk at his peak, he's closing him down. He's not. He's ball watching. But I mean, look, Curtis Jones. How many times did him and McAllister give the ball away too cheaply? Again, if you use both all the digits on your hands, you'd run out. You wouldn't have enough fingers. You'd end up taking your socks off and using your toes. It's just this team's lost its identity for me, and I honestly can't see anything changing from now till the end of the season. And I'll repeat what I said on the last stream we did. I honestly believe, in my heart of hearts, I honestly believe internally the decision's already been made that he's gone in the summer. But who comes in, I don't know. But I don't think he'll be here. Has he got 6 months left on his contract? I can't see him signing a new one.
And I think that is also a problem, because when a manager has an outgoing contract, usually that means there is some doubt, and then players are uncertain if he is going to be here next year, and that means how much attention am I going to take or put in what he is telling me to do, because you're gone in 6 months. So that is why you usually don't see a manager going through his last year. It's either get an extension or they clear up that he's not going to be there.
Yeah, to add, I think just to add what I'd said, I think he's already been told that he won't be here next season.
But if the club has done that, or if the club has somehow undermined his authority by not saying or giving him a new contract, that in turn will make the players believe he will be leaving, and his power and authority and the ears in the dressing room is lessened, because they don't think he's going to be there, so they don't pay much attention to him. That is what I've learned earlier experiences anyway. Before we go to the next point here, I want to give everybody who's watching a like, follow, and a subscription to All Red TV, so you will get a lot of good streams and a lot of handsome young and old people. One of the things I look at now is the stats, and since I'm not firm believer of stats, but I will still look at it, and I see in the first half, Fulham won 19 duels and we won 8. Now that can be because we weren't anywhere near a duel, or we were just not doing our job. But in the second half, the duels changed. It was 18 to them and 21 to us. So that also gives a picture that the second half was a lot better. We had more pace, we had more precision, we had more movement, and we won a lot of more duels than in the first half, which meant we could break from the middle and get easier up in attack. So, Drew, why do you think it changed so much during halftime? Why do you think the numbers show that we played a lot better? Do you think Slot gave a thunderous speech and everybody woke up, or what do you think?
I don't think we could play much worse than the first half. So,
Well,
like,
we
it's
could have
almost,
continued.
we could have, like, but I mean, we obviously came out with more energy. I think you asked the question earlier, Harold, is like, why don't we start the game with that? Or like, did the message get lost, etc. But it doesn't seem like there's a cohesive, like, even after we had the, first 5-10 minutes of pressing, then we got the goal, which looked offsides to me, but I'm not complaining. And then
Still looks
after
offside
that,
to me.
yeah, then after that, it like just dropped off again for a while. The intensity was gone, at least to my eyes. And then we got the winner. Got a good break. Anderson kicked it right to Gakpo, and he put it in the net. Good cross from Frimpong, but it just looks lost. That's all it seems to me. Like I think I said it in the chat earlier yesterday, where it's like when Jurgen came in, I think one of the most important message that he conveyed to the fans was like doubters to believers. And I think it's almost reversed in the club now, where it's like a lot of people are doubters. I doubt a lot of what's going on, what I'm seeing, and that's not good. And it doesn't look like the players have that belief throughout the whole game. Maybe in chunks they're going off like emotions, like highs and lows. It doesn't look like there's a set game plan each week, or if it is, it's not the right one. And then, yeah, the stats showed that we came out of the guns firing more, but that dissipated. We got kind of lucky on the second, or possibly lucky on 2 goals. I thought our first goal was offsides. But I don't know. Like, I don't want to be all doom and gloom because I still believe in this team. It's just like clearly we're not getting the best out of these players. Like Ben said it before, we have Premier League winners, we have Bundesliga winners, we have a insanely talented squad, but they're not. The Slot can't get a tune out of them. That's for me what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's his job to get a tune out of them. And then he's not. So how long does he get? That's the only question. And is it beneficial to keep him around if we don't think he's the long-term best for the club? It's like staying in a relationship is going to fail because you want to get to like a good point. That's almost what it seems like to me at this stage. But I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we're still waiting for Alonso before we kick him out. Who knows? But Ben, we started second half better, like Drew says. We came guns blazing. The stats show we tried harder. But what do you think is the reason for that? And do you think the reason that we fall off again at 1-1 is because we're afraid of losing?
No, I think we went more in. We locked in a little bit, try and get the equaliser because we realised, well, it couldn't be worse than it was in the first half. So we actually played like a football team for 20 minutes. And then inevitably, the lack of running power in the team caught up to them. Hence why that energy dissipated after the 65th minute. And it didn't return until Frimpong came on.
But what do you think Arne or the players shrugged off the first half and said, let's do a better job? Why? There must have been something that happened in that dressing room at halftime, don't you think? Or was it just, let's pray, let's try better,
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I generally don't know what goes on in the dressing room, honestly. But I literally couldn't tell you what happens because I don't know what they do, because like a team like, it shouldn't just last for 20 minutes. Like, we should be able to come out in that second half guns blazing, and it lasts for the entire second half. Considering how lethargic and slow we were in the first half and how cautious we were as well, you should be able to go guns blazing in the second half. But we've run out of that energy after 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Craig, what do you think happened and what made us change to coming out guns blazing, and what do you think is the reason why we fall off after the 1-1 game score? Sorry.
I don't think it's anything Arne Slot's saying. I think the players are actually frustrated with what's happening, and because they know how good they are and the quality that they possess. I think if you listen to McAllister, Frimpong, Van Dijk when they give interviews, the body language as well. You've just got to just look at the body language. They're extremely frustrated in how they're playing. But I think that's from the instruction they're being given. I think the natural of it, I think instead of them being allowed to go out and express themselves freely, they're being held back. It's like we're playing with the handbrake on. I mean, you on about stats there. Fulham had 37% possession. Liverpool had 63%, and we did nothing with it. I mean, that goal of Florian Wirtz is, if I was a drinker, the VAR took that long, I'd have completed dry January by the time that decision was made.
But it was close.
But it was close, but he was onside. But I mean, why? I mean, and that's something else which needs to be sorted out in the Premier League as well. The VAR need to be quicker. They need people in that position who know what they're doing and just crack on with it. But I just think but with Liverpool, it's no good us going into games and coming out the second half and playing well for 20 minutes and then holding on, hoping we get a point or we sneak a win. I think they're petrified of losing. The identity isn't there. You can't identify this team with a team last season. You can't. And I know what people are saying. Yeah, Liverpool are the champions, but this is Arne Slot's team now, and he's put his blueprint on this. His DNA is all over it, but it's absolutely night and day from what we had previously. Where's the red arrows gone? I think they're all in the aircraft hangar somewhere. They're gathering dust. There's no. I mean, Ben will say it. We brought Frimpong in. We brought Kirkes in. We've brought Wirtz in. They've all got pace. Why are we not using it? It's mind blowing. We're not dictating to other teams how the game's going to be played. They're dictating to us. And from Liverpool's DNA, that ain't right. That's never been that. That's never been the way. Not why I've been growing up, and even now. But I think Ben will say it. I think Arne Slot's walking in mud. I think he's on borrowed time, and the only thing what will save his job is if the performances improve. But somebody said on the chat, I think it was, we're still unbeaten. Hang on, you're clutching at straws now. If you're happy with that, we're still unbeaten. But something's got to give, and we can't. What have we got? 16 games left. It's going to be it's going to be an hard 16 watches if this is what we're looking at.
And the issue I have is that by not winning games, the teams behind us are getting closer and closer. And not only are they getting closer, more and more teams are getting closer. It's
Absolutely.
It's so tight there. Suddenly, if you then lose a game, then you fall not one place or two places, you fall 6 places or 7 places. So the lack of winning is a big issue here, without a doubt. I'm just going to ask one quick question before we move on.
Okay.
Drew, who's your man of the match?
Probably Harry Wilson.
Yeah, I agree. How can you give it to somebody else?
Okay, who's your second man of the match?
Do you mean from Liverpool? Like,
yeah, from Liverpool.
maybe,
fans.
maybe Frimpong? Maybe. Like, I don't know. I don't think you honestly can give Liverpool player the man of the match. Like one or two.
Okay,
or
Liverpool's
three.
best player then, or less worse, whatever you want to call it.
I honestly don't think we had one that really stood up above the rest. Maybe Frimpong, maybe Verts, but it's struggling.
Okay, so it's what was not an easy question after all then. But Ben, what is your Liverpool's best and less worst player?
Well, like Drew said, we didn't have a best player, but I'll tell you who deserves any award for that game or any games this season from Liverpool. The fans. We've sat and watched 90 minutes of this absolute garbage every week, sometimes twice a week. We deserve a Nobel Peace Prize for not committing crimes after these games.
Well, you didn't support my local team in the 90s, Ben, so you don't know what you're talking about. but
It's hard to support a team when I wasn't born.
But how can you give the award to the fans when we're on the last stream just slagged them for not having the atmosphere and doing their own job as well?
The away support is good.
Yeah, the away support is also very good.
Yeah.
I know the traveling cup is good. So okay, so Drew is uncertain who gets it. Ben gives it to the traveling cup. Craig.
Man of the match. Well, obviously Harry Wilson, yeah, and I think for us, I'd give it to the physiotherapist. She had nothing to do. she just kept her seat warm. I just think man of the match. I just think, well, I'd give it Florian Wirtz because he's the only one who's trying to create anything. And if he scored in the last two games, and people will be banging on, yeah, we paid 116 million for him, yeah, but the grassroots are starting to shoot through. He's showing what he's capable of doing. It just annoys me that you keep dragging your best player off when you've not got anybody to put on. I did have a question for you actually.
Yeah, but I want to give my man of the match first.
Okay.
And not the man of the match, Liverpool's best player, and that is the dude in the VAR box because I still think that was offside. I'm sorry.
Which one?
The first one.
Harry Wilson's.
No, the one we got.
Florian Wirtz.
Yeah,
no, he was onside.
Yeah, but if I sat with my son and my friend, and we all still thought it was offside when we saw it again and again. I know he's onside, but yeah. So
he was onside by a toenail, literally.
Yeah, but I still, when I see it without the lines, I still see him offside. So I'll give it to him. Your question, Craig, what was it?
Yeah, my question is, when you look at how we're playing, this is to all three of you.
Are we playing?
When you look at how Liverpool are playing, and the formation we're using, the style of play we're playing, what would you change, and how would you change it? Because for me, I think the confidence is shot throughout the team. So all three of you, what would you change? What would you do different to get it back, to get them playing to how they're capable of, and probably finishing third at a pinch?
Drew, you can answer first.
Mine's always been tempo. Like, I feel like that's the biggest thing missing. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like you can only have the ball for like 1 second or 2 seconds, and you either have to pass it or you have to move, like you have to do something. But we're so slow in attack. Like, nothing happens when everyone can see what you're doing, passing it across the lines, hoping something opens up. Like, we're so slow. Like, take risks. I think, like, when I remember interviews where Klopp's just like, he tells players, if you see a run, like, make a run and go for it. If we lose the ball, like, press. Like, those first, like, 5 set or whatever it was, press and get the ball back. Like, that's what I remember. When we turned it over, we pressed super hard to get the ball back. And if we didn't, then we'd run back, reset, and defend from there. Like, there was a lot more chaos created when you take more risks. Now we're just so lethargic and slow. It's like easy for teams to set up against us and we don't do anything. Like, I can't honestly remember like too many chances where we created something from the slow, lethargic build up without a bit of luck. It's no surprise Ferds got in when we actually picked up the momentum. But for me, it's that tempo. Like, the players have to move the ball quicker, whether that's passing it quicker, like attacking players, like attacking your man more. Like, we're just so slow. So tempo for me has to go up.
Ben,
Where do I start?
you start by we have too many Dutchmen.
Yes.
And next,
Rio and Gamoa, Troy Neone. Give these young players who have shown they have quality chances. Like McAllister hasn't been good this season. Gravenberg hasn't been good this season, really. Gakpo hasn't been good. Yeah, he scored. He still hasn't been good. You've got these young.
you think more changes is a way to go when players like McAllister have complained that we've made too many changes?
Yeah, I don't know, because these players that are currently playing don't show the energy that is required to be a Liverpool player. Rio would give his all. Neone would give his all. Bajcetic, if he's even a real thing, will give his all.
But me and Craig are old enough to remember Souness when he changed too much too fast. And we saw how that went. And I feel that is kind of part of the issue now as well. And I still believe it's the right thing to do a rebuild. I still think it's no good thought to split it up into summer transfer windows, one last year and one this year. But
I never thought I'd ever say this, but I go back to 2020 when Arsenal was struggling. Arteta brought in Saka, he brought in Martinelli, he brought in Smith Rowe. Look what happened to Arsenal ever since. It's been upwards trajectory. Why can't we do that? We have Neone, Rio, they're good youth players. They could come in and improve us big time. Why can't we trust the youth like Arteta did, or like Klopp did? Klopp won a final with a kindergarten team against £1 billion Chelsea. Why can't Klopp do the same? He's got much better youth talent at his disposal than Klopp did, and he's not using it. Liverpool is known for using its youth talent.
I understand what you're saying. I'm not sure I would like to have more changes. I would kind of like go back to a few changes, make it more comfortable, what we've used to, what we know from last year that worked. When it comes to, I would like to see us play more for the diamond formation, because that has given us some sort of reliability and a little bit more control that we've been lacking this season.
We can't
Of
play
course,
we can't do the diamond right now, though. We just not got the personnel.
Yeah, we have the personnel, but he won't use any of them.
Well, not really. Our only natural striker is Ekitike. Salah's at AFCON. He can clearly slide. Salah fell out. Chiesa isn't rated.
Chiesa could and should play a striker.
He could and should, yeah.
Yeah, but
well.
That's what I meant. We have the players, he just don't want to use them. But my point is, speed and passing. I agree. That is something that has to improve, and that is also down to the players. It looks like they are comfortable with having the ball because they don't want to make mistakes. So when they're not being pressured by the opponent, good, I can do a safe pass. I can do something easy and don't make a mistake. And that is a dangerous way to go mentally when you're trying to perform something. If your acceptance for not doing anything mistake, that's the bar. well, then you don't evolve or be productive or do anything about it. So that for me is an issue. Whether that is complacency or fear of getting yelled at, I don't know. But it looks like, and that is something like you said, Ben. It looks like no matter how shit you play, you're not getting benched. So when and there's many reasons for that, because one is either we have many injuries in that position, so you can't be benched because the alternatives are all injured or suspended or whatever. And when you continue to play poorly and there is no real competition, you don't give a fuck.
Kanata.
That's the prime example, yes. And so he can allow himself to play poorly or lower his standards because either he's going to Real Madrid or he's not going to bench anyway. So he doesn't have to work hard, and that's why you have to have a player that challenges in every position. That's the way you only get them to keep at them toes, and by doing that, the one that starts knows he has to perform, or else he loses his spot. That makes him wants to run, tackle, defend, shoot, score, whatever it is. It gives them the drive to do things, and that is what the team is lacking. There is no drive, so why should they perform? Because they're playing next week anyway.
It's why I don't, like we say all this about depth and defensive depth. It's why I never criticised Arsenal. I actually commended them for making as many defensive signings as they did. There's no position more inconvenient for your players to just stop trying than centre back, and we've seen it with Kanate. He's not trying.
You can't have three guys on every position either, because the talents will lead.
They don't. They have left back, centre backs. They can play left back or right back, and centre back if needs be, and then they have two centre backs each.
Yeah, and that I agree on. But you asked a question, Craig. What is your answer to this question?
Well, looking at how Liverpool are playing and looking at what Slot's doing, the worrying thing for me is, you're not going to like what I'm going to say now, but I think it's actually fact. We played better football under Roy Hodgson in 6 months than what we're playing now under Ernie Slot. We played actually better football. They went out and they were committed, and they wanted to do the shirt justice. That passion and that desire is gone at the minute. The confidence is gone. But there's always been a saying in football: if you're young enough, you're good enough. Right? Yeah. And you can go back to Steven Gerrard at 18, Michael Owen at 17, Robbie Fowler if you want to. Right? Now, if you're young enough, you're good enough. Now, if Ernie Slot's not, like Ben's just said, and he's rammed a few off there, Rio Ungamoa, Trainee Orney to name two. Now, if Ernie Slot's not giving these young lads the chance to show what they're capable of and what the future of Liverpool looks like, who else is pulling the strings at Liverpool? Because if Ernie Slot's not in charge, then who is? That's just something that's popped into my head, because it's a big question. There's something not right at Liverpool at the minute, and I can't put my finger on it. But the thing is, I think the lads what are playing at the minute, we know we've got injuries, and for some, there's more chance of me walking straight than Federico Chiesa getting a game at Liverpool. Seriously. The only time I walk straight is when I'm pissed and I don't drink, right? But Federico Chiesa, if I was him now, if I was in his boots now, in his shoes, I'd be banging on that door tomorrow morning, asking for a transfer, because he ain't. The only time he wears his kit is when he's training.
He won't do that.
It's criminal. It's criminal. Honestly, it's criminal. And the thing is, that like you've just said there's nobody putting pressure on that first 11 to lose their slot. You're not an automatic starter at Liverpool. Now, this is where Ben, I think you just said it as well, Alred. Mo Salah's fell out with Ernie Slot, and the reason, and apparently this is what I'm hearing, the reason he's fell out with Ernie Slot is because he's been told he's not an automatic choice anymore. That's why he spat his dummy out. So how do I correct it? What I would do is I'd take Canati out the team completely. I'm sorry, but he's a liability. We call Joe Gomez Cinderella, but this lad's worse. I'd take him out, and I'd give the young lads a game. I really would, because look who we play next. And Ben's not wrong in what he said with who Arteta brought in. But Arteta's been there 6 years, spent £1 billion, and he's won nothing yet. And there's no guarantees he's going to win the league. That's for sure. But there's problems at Liverpool. The confidence is shot at Liverpool. But how do you get your confidence back? You get it back by winning games. But they don't even look like they can win a game. And McAllister, I'd take him out.
Yeah.
Szoboszlai, you can't take him out. I think Gravenberch needs a rest. I think he's shattered. I think he's running on empty.
I think one of the problems is that we are using the players wrong. We are not playing to their strength, and they're playing in wrong positions or not doing what they're best at. I think that is one of the biggest issues.
And the worrying thing is they're not going to spend any money this month.
Well, I don't think that is either, but that might be because they don't know if they want to spend the money now on a manager who's maybe not be here next season.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I said. I've been saying that for all month. I said that for most of December. They shouldn't spend in January. Hang this manager out to dry, and he should prove to them that he's worth investing in again in the summer, if he's even here still. Because
I think Liverpool needs to finish the rebuild in the summer anyway.
we need to.
So
I don't even think it's finishing the rebuild. I think it's starting it over, like fresh slate. Because whatever this rebuild is, it's failed clearly.
all right.
So just get rid of Slot and start fresh again under Julian Nagelsmann or whatever.
I mean, I know it's completely opposite, but if I watched the game yesterday, I don't know if you guys watched it or not, south of the border, but I watched the Glasgow derby, right? And I tell you what, I can't make my mind up who's the worst manager at the minute, Wilfried Nancy at Celtic or Arne Slot at Liverpool, because they are both absolutely shambolic. And if you'd have seen, I don't know if you saw the demonstration outside Celtic Park after the game. Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's big trouble up there. Trust me, there's big trouble up there. But it won't be long before this starts happening at Liverpool the way things are going.
No, stuff like that never happened to Liverpool. The last time it happened was Hicks and Gillette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
It doesn't happen at Liverpool. This fan base is too nice. It's too behind the slogan "You'll never walk alone," like you said.
I think it's a good thing we don't kick people out just because they had a bad week, like many other managers or clubs. So I think that is a good thing. There is always a middle ground. We may not be there, but I think that's a good thing. I just want to remind everybody watching, give All Red TV a like, subscribe, and follow, so you will never miss any of the good streams with these good guys. I want to lift my head up a little bit and look a couple of days ahead. That's the big game. That's the kind of make it or break it game, in my opinion. I've said now for quite a while that I think that is the game. That was the game he would get into, because there's a couple of, I think it's a period after that where it's a little bit off when it comes to games. So I've said a long time now that Slot would get to that game before any decision would ever be made, if he's in or out or whatever. Now, there has been a lot of support publicly from the club because of the Salah thing and everything. So there might not happen anything after that game anyway. But what do you think, guys? I'll start again with Drew. Do you think he could survive when it comes to the fans, the dressing room, the board, anything, if we go to the Emirates and we fuck up and they win 4-5-0? You think that would be a nail in the coffin, or you think he will sit till the summer anyway, no matter how it goes?
I personally would believe it's the nail in the coffin, but it still comes down to the question for me. It's like, do they want an interim manager, or do they want someone to replace? Like, the timing doesn't look great. If we were going to go for Alonso, Real haven't sacked him. If we were going to go for like Enrique at PSG, he's still there. Like, unless FSG has someone tapped up ready to take charge, similar to Rodgers' transition with Klopp, then we'd have to get an interim manager. And then that, but for me at this point, it's like, if we get trounced by Arsenal, which could very well likely happen, the question for me now has been, I think I've said it before, it's like, is keeping Slot in till the end of the season, assuming that he goes, then is that good for the players to just sit and wallow in that? Like, are we going to finish top 4 if they know he's gone, he knows he's gone? Like, I don't think that's a good environment. And then if it's like FSG back him to, like, they're like, okay, you're gonna see out your 3-year contract, we'll give you another summer and rebuild. It's now starting to feel like the Rodgers kind of reign, in regards of like Rodgers had Suarez like Suarez carry the team on his back for that challenge, and then next year, fell apart. It almost seems like Klopp was carrying Slot on the back, like with his system, his players. Slot almost seemed like the fresh tank of gas that the car needed to get over the line the following season. He didn't change anything with the car. He just put some more gas in it and got him through, got that fresh energy. Now he's chopping up the car, changing it, which we all agreed needed to happen at some point. But what he's constructed, no one knows what it is, including Slot. Or at least that's the impression I get. So,
Because Salah carried the team last year, like Suarez did. So, okay, so you think it's a nail in the coffin? Who would you like? Let's put it this way. Let's say it's an interim manager, right? Who would you like to see come in?
I didn't want to a few weeks ago or a month ago, but at this point, it's almost like the only one who could, because I think you run into the problem of like, if the interim manager does well, like they could get the job, and like it wasn't the plan, kind of like a Ole Gunnar Solskjaer situation at United. But I do think Gerrard could have the right mentality of him knowing that he's not the guy long term. And he'll be like very clear, like, I am only finishing out the season. I think that needs to be like at the forefront, not like, oh, we'll see how this goes. It's like, I am only here until May, and he's the guy who would take that on. He's not bigger than the club. He's Mr. Liverpool, and he knows that, with the legacy he has, everything, he still wouldn't put himself in front, like if he didn't believe he was the best. And I don't think he thinks he's the best person moving forward. So I think it actually is good to bring him in now, because I think he could get us top 4, which is what we need to do at this point.
Ben, do you think it's the final nail in the coffin on if it goes shit show on Thursday, or do you think it will carry on till the summer anyway? And if it is the final coffin, if he gets sacked, who would you like as an interim? We have talked about it, so I think I know your answer, but give it again.
I'd agree with you. I'd take Gerrard only on a 6-month kind of basis, but if you're also looking at the market in the summer, if you're not confident you can get any of your top targets, then like I said on the last stream, Xavi Hernandez, go and get him in, and then if he does well, give him next season as well, and then you can reassess your options in 2027, where Luis Enrique might be a free agent, where Simone Inzaghi will be a free agent.
But then you're kind of in the limbo there, where the manager, where he's only get a 1-year contract. The players, if things don't go right, how will he be here next year? Is he worth listening to? That kind of thing.
Javier Hernandez would command respect because he's a legend of the game. He knows he knows his stuff. Obviously, so he would command respect from a lot of players. And what he would do is he would bring a proper footballing structure to the team. He'd bring in proper patterns, passing patterns, and whatnot.
Mm.
And he'd use the youth, which is one thing I consider most important. He would give the youth players we currently employ a chance to show themselves, which I think is key.
But you don't think a big loss to Arsenal will change anything?
No.
No.
Right now, I don't think it does. I think Slot stays until the summer. Anyway, regardless, I think the club have not told him, but I think the club sees Slot as the interim. Right now, he's only here because the options are very dire outside of like one or two. So he's just staying till the end of the season, and then he'll go, and then someone like Nagelsmann, I reckon, comes in and takes over. But regarding the Arsenal game, it's not a question of if we win or not. I think it's more of a question of how many will we lose by, because we are going to lose that game of football. There's no denying it. We are not coming out of that stadium with 3 points. I'm very confident about that.
No, that would be the biggest upset this season, in my opinion. But Craig, do you think that will be a turning point for Slot if he loses that one big time, or do you think, like Ben says, he will get to the summer? And who would you like to have as interim if he gets the boot?
I think looking at it from a football point of view, not as taking my Liverpool out for a minute. Looking at it, I think I agree with Ben. I don't think he's going to go until the summer, and I also believe my own gut instinct is internally they've already set the wheels in motion, because if you look at it, he was only given an 18-month contract. And if he was the man that they really wanted, why didn't you give him a longer contract? So I think they give him an 18-month contract until they knew the guy who they actually wanted to take over from Jurgen was available. And for me, I think that's Luis Enrique at PSG. In the interim, I wouldn't have a problem with Steven Gerrard coming in for 6 months, because Stevie G will do similar to what Kenny Dalglish did second time around. He'd steady the ship, because you've got somebody with the club's DNA running through his bloodstream, who knows the club inside out. And I don't think Steven Gerrard will be frightened of tearing a strip off anybody if they weren't performing to the standards what that club or this club expects. But and looking at the Arsenal game on Thursday night, I'm not looking forward to it one bit. I'm absolutely dreading it. I think it could be quite comfortably 5-0 to Arsenal. I just don't see any way, shape or form we come away with anything there. And I think, looking at it from a football point of view, I think Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal squad will want to prove a point on Thursday night, because 3 times they've been runners-up. Now the champions are coming to the back garden now, and he'll just say, listen, we've given them a guard of honour last time we played them. Let's go out and show them who's going to be the champions this season. And I think it could be embarrassing to watch. And if I had a ticket to go to Arsenal, I'd probably sell it. I wouldn't travel all that way to watch my team be embarrassed. I'd sit at home up. You know what I mean? I don't think Carney's gone until the summer, but I think plans are already afoot. But if Gerrard was asked to come in for 6 months, I wouldn't complain, because I know he'd do what Dalglish did. Kenny didn't do any wrong 6 months for 6 months. So it's just wait and see. But I just think the writing's on the wall for Arne Slot, and I think he knows it.
I think I hope kind of maybe more like it. If we lose big to Arsenal, which I think is very, very possible, if you lose big there, if the club is like Ben says, if the club sees him as an interim manager, if they have made that decision already, like Craig said, if they have decided that there will be a change come summer, then I would see that as a poor decision, to be honest. If you come to that decision, then make a change. You can't allow it to wallow like it does now. You have to do something, and I would then like get Savi with the possibility of extended contract if he does well, but or like Ben said on an earlier stream, Steven Gerrard and maybe Fernando Torres as an assistant in some sort. That would be my wet dream. So I would I would love to see those two guys again in anything Liverpool.
Oh dear.
But I'm I I I think it's very possible we lose big at Arsenal. I think
Hungry.
that is. Hmm?
I like Captain Gabriel on FPL because he's going to score a hat trick of headers on set pieces.
As long as you jinx it, that's okay. But my point is, if we lose big there, and we've been going through this shit show for now half a season, and they still don't do anything. They have made a decision but don't do anything. That is more wrong than hiring the wrong guy, if you know what I mean, because you're allowing something bad to happen willingly and knowingly instead of doing something about it, and that for me would be atrocious, to be honest.
I do get the point, to be fair, though, because under slot these players look hopeless most of the time, and if it continues like this, then top four isn't going to happen. I still think we get top four, but like
yeah, but the chance of top four is diminishing each week because we get 1 point and everybody under us get 3 points. So, like I said, in the start of the yeah, exactly. Because if you lose, get one game and draw one game, you're in 12th. You know, and if you win 2 games, you're in 3rd. So, if there's been any form of progress in speed, passing, play, tactics, system, anything, that would be good. But like we've said earlier, I don't see anything. It's gone. I don't know what I'm going to get when I watch a Liverpool game, except that it's going to be poor.
Depression.
Yeah, I have that before, so that's no issue. It just gets worse. But yeah, I think that's about time to wrap it up, guys. I would like to thank Drew, Ben, and Craig, the owner of All Red TV, for being here today and letting me host.
Pleasure.
Foremost.
Pleasure.
We'll see you next time on the stream. We will probably do something before
Wednesday
or
night
after
if you're available.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night,
pre-game.
and then we can do a post game after the game on Thursday if you wish. That's up to you guys. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, I think that's a good thing. Maybe Drew can't make it because he lives over on the pond. But you'll be our weekend guest then, Drew, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I will thank everybody for watching. Give All Red TV a like, subscribe, and a follow. And we will see you on Wednesday and after the game against Arsenal, where we probably will cry together, everybody. But we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.